It's great to be with you. I wanted to start today with just a little bit of my story, where this idea for creativity comes, why I'm excited about being part of the Laycock Center for Creative Collaboration. I came back to teach at BYU in 2003, and I found a cohort in crime in Doug McKinley in the advertising program. He and I had this vision of creating an advertising lab where students could have real practice working on creative problem solving. In fact, that's what I think I teach. I think I teach creative problem solving. But if you were to ask my students what they think I teach, you've seen those cartoons, right? What I think and they think, well, very different things. So I think it's creative problem solving. But when I talk to my students, they think it's something like this. So when I talk about the 4 Ps, what am I talking about? Who knows? Any volunteers out there in this crowd of audience? I can't hear you. What is it? I hear price, product, what else? Place, all these other things, P, promotion, I've heard other things. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is not what I teach. Not even close. Those are the wrong 4 Ps. You guys are awful students. This is terrible. But what I try to teach and what I think my students would tell you is a new set of 4 Ps. And I've actually kind of coined them the 4 Ps of personal fulfillment. And while I use the lens of creativity, I use the lens of advertising and problem solving, what I want to talk about today is these 4 Ps that I hope we can each put into our life. And so the first P I want to talk about is passion. What is it that fuels you to become who you are? When I first stepped foot back on BYU's campus, I'm a graduate of this wonderful institution. When I first stepped foot back into the classroom as a professor, I immediately remembered something about myself. I felt this little prick in my heart like, this is what you were supposed to do. And I felt a passion about it. In fact, I cultivated that passion through years of working and teaching and trying to be part of something here at Brigham Young University. That passion I've found for myself is to enable others to achieve their passion. So that's P1. What is your passion? The second P that I want to talk about is pursue. Now, I love the actual improper grammar here because I love the motivation and action in that word. Pursue. You've got to relentlessly go get it. If you have a passion and you know what it is, you got to drive for it. You got to get it. You can't quit. You have to go. This is a great photo to just give a little bit of implication of what kind of pursue we're talking about. Okay? The third P is persistence. And when I think about my experience here at Brigham Young University over the last 10 years, this is one of the keys that all successful, passionate people have, is you have to persist. You can't quit. When going gets tough, it's not the tough get going, the tough keep going. You can't stop. If you're passionate, that persistence needs to be there. And in large institutions, that can even be harder. I've had to learn how to be very persistent, which actually leads us to the last P that we want to talk about today, and that's patience. Remember, the theme of our conference today is creativity demands patience. And I'll talk a little bit more specifically about that. But these are the 4 Ps that I think I try to teach my students. In fact, I would hope, there's some of them are in the audience, I'd hope if you asked them, what does Jeff teach you? It would be more than the 4 Ps of marketing. It would be more than advertising and what we do to solve creative business problems. It would be more than even creative collaboration across disciplines. It would be these 4 Ps of what makes someone successful and fulfilled. So I'm not the only one who's thought of these things, right? Probably you've thought, hey, I've heard those ideas before. In the words of another great thinker, I'd like to share with you what he talks about passion.
What do you desire? What makes you itch? What sort of a situation would you like? Let's suppose, I do this often in vocational guidance of students. They come to me and say, well, we're getting out of college and we haven't the faintest idea what we want to do. So I always ask the question, what would you like to do if money were no object? How would you really enjoy spending your life? Well, it's so amazing. As a result of our kind of educational system, crowds of students say, well, we'd like to be painters, we'd like to be poets, we'd like to be writers, but as everybody knows, you can't earn any money that way. Or another person says, well, I'd like to live an out-of-doors life and ride horses. I say, do you want to teach in a riding school? Let's go through with it. What do you want to do? When we finally got down to something which the individual says he really wants to do, I will say to him, you do that. and forget the money. Because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way. And so, therefore, it's so important to consider this question: what do I desire?
So I want to pause for a moment on that thought. What do I desire? That's the question that I want to pose today. And that's the thought that I want each of you to put in your minds. What do I desire? What is it that's driving me? What is it that I'm passionate about? Be really introspective about it. Be mature to dig in your heart and find what is it that you've been hoping to do. Now, I've got to share something with you. Just last night, I found out that I'm onto something. I'm onto something big, actually, because America's finest news source is talking about this exact same topic today. I just read it last night, right here in The Onion. And if you haven't seen The Onion, let me tell you, this is America's finest news source. It says so right underneath, America's finest news source. The Onion is talking about the exact same question. Find the things you're most passionate about, and I love the headline, then do it on nights and weekends for the rest of your life. Doesn't that sound great? In fact, if you go down here, his advice, just find the thing you enjoy doing more than anything else, your one true passion, and do it for the rest of your life on nights and weekends when you're exhausted and cranky and just want to go to bed. It's far too late to make a drastic change, and you're stuck in this mind-numbing path for the rest of your life, but that's okay. Dive in with a full 10% and spend the other 90% torturing yourself. So I know I'm onto something, okay? Now, with the little humor bit aside, I want to get back to these 4 Ps. I want to talk about, with passion, what do you desire? Ask yourself, what is it that drives you? What do you care about? What do you love? What's deep in your heart? Desire and passion are intrinsically linked. When you consider again about pursue, to be relentless once you find it, and be mature again enough to admit to yourself what you're made of. What were you brought on this earth to do? Do it. Be it. Become that person. I want to share with you a couple of examples of some students. The first is Devin Graham. Some of you might know him on the internet as Devin Supertramp. He's kind of a popular guy. Devin was one of my former students, and I love Devin. What I love about Devin is that, especially this week, he's recently just posted this video that talks a little bit about his passion and how he does it. And the interesting thing about Devin is he doesn't quit. He moves. He's always looking and searching. The thing I love about Devin is, and he says in this video, he has to fight for his passion. These videos that he produces, he might take a year to produce a 3-minute clip that you watch on YouTube in 2.5 minutes, and then it's over. But what he's done is actually shown himself that he can have passion and pursue it. He loves his life. He fights for his passion every day, and he won't quit at being able to accomplish that. I've had some wonderful experiences working with Devin creatively, and I'm inspired by the fact that he's chosen to do what he believes he's made to do. I want to talk about those other 2 principles. Persistence again. You can't quit, especially if it feels like all you can do is do your passion on nights and weekends, like the Onion was joking about. Be persistent. Don't let it stop. Patience, then. Getting back to this idea for our presentation today. Creativity demands patience. You might not see the fruits of those labors for a lifetime. In fact, it might come after your lifetime. But I promise, if you have patience, persist in what you're passionate about, those fruits will come. I want to share one more story of some students that I recently taught that just graduated last year. And they've actually been able to show me a little bit about how to do this. These are my students who turned into little hobbits and decided to embark on a road to the Shire just in time for the Hobbit movie that launched at Christmas. I'm going to let them share their story of pursuing their passion, but through patience and persistence through this little video clip.
Ever had a dream but didn't know how to make it happen? Sure you have. We did too. A really cool guy, Zach Canfield, gave a speech at our school. The gist? You can't wait for big things to come to you. You've got to make big things happen. So how do you do it? We took what we were passionate about and combined it with our inspiration from Zach and found a space where our dream could live. And that's how Road to the Shire was born. So what's Road to the Shire? Here's the shorty. Take 3 Hobbit fans and a big idea. What big idea? This big idea. Let's unite all of Tolkien fandom around a single cause. If we come together, we can make our mark on the story we love on the big screen and maybe even get some fans in as extras. Awesome, right? Totally. There was just one problem, our budget, or lack thereof. Can you say college students? So what'd we do? We turned to the interweb and some plastic ears, and we had to do it now. Because why? Because the movie was getting ready to start production. So what was our first step? Lord of the Rings fans are intense and totes loyal, and second only to the craziest fans on the planet. Yep, you guessed it, flippy hair and screaming girls. No, we're not talking about Twilight, we're talking about the Beeb and his army of 13 bajillion Twitter followers. So we remixed the most viewed YouTube video of all time, Baby, Hobbit style. The Hobbits asked JB and his believers to give us a tweet, and in return we promised to name our firstborn child Beaver. So what happened? We gained a following of Hobbit chicas, crashed Middle-earth News, Hobbit and 5, and started finding cash on our cars. We also got a call, a big call, from the management of Lord of the Rings franchise wanting to collaborate. Behold the power of Beeb. We found closet Tolkien fans everywhere and proved that hobbits can dance, but can they cook? Can you say second breakfast a la mode? Dining with the Dean can. We showed up on a national TV cooking show and kicked butt against some professional butt kickers. In the end, the Dean couldn't deny the power of breakfast. First, second, or 11sies, and awarded us a giant check for $3 grand. So we pocketed $1,000, made some goodwill by donating the rest to the New Zealand earthquake relief, and ended up front and center on the official movie blog. That's right, Google The Hobbit. It's the first thing that comes up. Next, like any small town star, aka waiter hoping to make it big, we traveled to the city of dreams, the Big Apple. We staged a LARP in front of Stephen Colbert's studio, made friends with LARPers across America, and said good morning to America. Next thing we knew, a TV radio personality in the Netherlands was podcasting about you-know-who. No, not the Dark Lord, it was us. Our movement was truly global. Eat your heart out, Voldemort. Speaking of hairy feet, we saw loads of them on September 26th, Hobbit Day. Legit fans responded to our call and sent in videos and pictures of their celebrations from Denver to France. This barefoot bonanza caused a stir with the press and made Hobbit's top stories across the land. Then the mothership of New Zealand news, stuff.co.nz, think New York Times only Kiwi-style sweet ass bro, featured us on the front page. Before the end of the day, we had offers to stay in people's homes on location and donated buddy passes for airfare. The common theme, don't give up. We want to see your dreams come true and get on the set. So all in all, did we accomplish what we set out to do? You bet we did. We brought together fans from 64 countries, reached over 100,000 people worldwide, garnered the attention of upper-ups in Peter Jackson's camp, and given fans everywhere a forum to make their mark on the movies they love. Oh, and we did it like for no dinero. That's like no media dollars. Word. And the party isn't over. Look for the documentary. That's it. This video's over. Big ideas have no limits. Think outside the box. Jeez.
So, a little bit of fun from the students. That's right. Give it up for the Road to the Shire. So I want to tell you that they're still seeking, they're still looking, they're still finding their passion. You know, as students, they got to have a little bit of fun. But let's see, Hobbit on the left, John, is just left an ad agency in San Francisco to take a job at Bonneville Communications in Salt Lake City, and he's pursuing his passion. Mitch, Hobbit on the right, is actually writing children's stories in Southern California. He's writing children's literature. That's where he wants to be. And John D. in the middle, well, he's still on the proverbial road to the Shire. But he's seeking his passion, and I promise you he will find it. So you're probably asking, hey, Jeff, this is cool. I love that. That's great. But what about me? What can I do today? Because I probably can't just wipe the slate clean, quit my job, become a hobbit, and go to the Shire. Although some of you, if it inspires you, you're welcome. Go for it. But if you're asking that question of yourself, what can I do? You probably today are thinking, I've got some time. Maybe it's on nights and weekends. Maybe it's just the spare time. But I've got a question for you. What do you do with that time? What do you fill it with? I'm guessing that some of you fill it with something like this. Okay, seriously? This is what you do with your time when you're passionate about something? And for a moment, though, let's talk seriously. This is what we do when we have something that we're passionate about. I'd venture to say that the majority of the audience uses some form of social media to get passionate about something. Okay? I see it in you. You're YouTube watching, you're Facebook stalking, you're tweeting to the Twitter sphere, you're pinning party planning on Pinterest. You're all over the place. It could be Vine, it could be Snapchat, blogs, they're everywhere. And don't even get me started on this whole Tinder left or right swipe thing. It's grossing me out, people. But when you think about what you do, I want you to consider something for just a minute. What desire do you have? What passion do you have in your life? And are you willing to seek it? I think apropos to our audience, when you think of consumption, the laws of consumption, there used to be an old saying, you are what you eat. I today would challenge that consumption, particularly in a modern mediated world. You are what you seek. And I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you're all seekers. You're all filling your life with something. So what do you seek? We've created a movement, and I'd like to today start as a kind of a kickoff of that movement. We've created a space online where we want people who desire to be passionate about something, to share that with others, and to find what motivates and inspires other people to come to this place. And this is a website that we call weseek.org. On this website, it's supposed to be a repository of things that inspire us, that show the passionate things we care about, and that we can learn and believe in what others do. So today, my invitation to you, my challenge, actually, is to hashtag something that you care about, something that you're passionate of, with a hashtag of WeSeek. And then begin to look, begin to follow. See if we can't spark a movement of other people who are interested in pursuing their passion with persistence and patience. Thank you very much.